Hi, my name is Xiomara Rodriguez, and these are my 3 case studies. My first student is a young man named Michael. Well, first of all, I teach 7th grade reading, so all the students are about 13 years old. Michael is Puerto Rican. He comes from a bilingual home, but is not an ESL student, and he was an ESL last year either. I teach 2 levels of reading. Michael is in the class where I teach students who have scored proficient or advanced on PSSAs, and so by his scores definitely shows that he's a strong reader. Something about him that is, I think, quite interesting is that he scored below basic on his PSSAs in 5th grade, scored actually proficient in 6th grade, so he made a really huge leap, which is not common for a lot of students. About his personality, he's very quiet, he's withdrawn, he doesn't socialize a whole lot, whether that be in the classroom or in the hallway. I think at lunch I don't see him talking too much. He's usually sitting with students, but it's usually to himself, and I don't see him engaged in a whole lot of conversation. He's pretty withdrawn. I don't see him smile a whole lot. And often becomes visibly frustrated in the classroom. Not that he acts out or anything. I can just see he puts his head down and he kind of shuts down and drops his pencil, so clearly those are signs of frustration. He will ask for clarification, not all the times, but I would say maybe 50% of the time. He sketches often in class and is very easily distracted, and he does have difficulty keeping his papers together and staying organized. So in terms of readiness, his handwriting is difficult to read. That's one of the first things that I noticed about Ray in terms of his work, and he does not take notes very well. He has trouble with that. He requires extended amount of time for assignments and tests, and when given the opportunity to complete the assignment at another time, he usually will take advantage of that, which is a good thing. Visual aids seem to hold his attention much more than lecture style. And so graphic organizers are usually a key component for him, and especially in taking the abstract and making that more concrete for him. Multi-step tasks are really difficult for him to follow, and I would say verbal directions are easier than written directions for Michael. Michael has, I would say, a limited range of vocabulary when in comparison to other students in the classroom, and he has difficulty verbalizing his thoughts. He does better writing them down. I think he has the time to process what he's thinking, and he doesn't feel kind of pressured or on the spot to come up with an answer or to explain his thinking. In terms of background knowledge, I would say it's probably, he comes in with a little bit less background knowledge than perhaps my middle-of-the-road student. And one of the things that is, for me, a bit puzzling about Michael is that even though his scores are really good, and when he has taken other tests, such as we give the Foresight and the Plato test here at our district, he still scores proficient in those tests. There is a big disconnect between what I see he's able to do, or what the tests say he's able to do, and what I see him being able to do in the classroom. He demonstrates a lot of difficulty in abstract thinking and moving beyond the literal text. He has difficulty in higher level thinking, such as making connections between texts, understanding author's purpose or theme, making inferences, and citing relevant pieces of information from a given text to support his thinking. Michael prefers to work by himself. If given the opportunity, that's what he'll choose, is to work alone. However, if he's paired with the right person or group, then he usually does, he'll engage, and he usually does really well, and he'll give his input in whatever they're working on. If he's paired with students who are a little bit overbearing or loud or strong personalities, he usually will shy back and disengages even more. In terms of interest, Michael loves to draw, and he's actually really good at it. He does not enjoy competitive activities, I think because it causes him to, that requires him to think really quickly on the spot, and he takes a little bit longer to process ideas. He loves anything that requires creative thinking. He actually likes getting in front of the classroom and acting out skits. He's really good at that, and he loves technology and, again, art. Another thing I've noticed about Michael is that when something comes up that relates to his home culture, he seems to perk up a little bit, and he likes to discuss and share his connections between what we've said and how that relates to him and his family or his culture. In terms of learning profile, he does, again, prefer to work alone. He does need visual aids to make abstract ideas more concrete. He does really well with one-on-one. But again, he requires a lot of scaffolding because he does frustrate pretty easily, and he does take extended time. However, if given the opportunity to work on something and demonstrate mastery by revising an assignment or revising a test or an assessment, he will take advantage of that. And he's definitely better with verbal instructions than he is understanding written and following written instructions. My second case study is a young girl named Cindy. Cindy is white. She is in all advanced classes and advanced on her reading scores. She has a GIEP, so she's gifted. Her personality, she's very confident, very strong, very upbeat. She's got kind of a quirky personality, and I think she truly finds pleasure in going against what is considered cool to the rest of the middle schoolers. And she demonstrates really strong leadership qualities, and those qualities are definitely recognized by the other students in the classroom. Sydney has very strong verbal and written skills, and she demonstrates the ability to think critically and to think outside the box. And she can grasp abstract concepts very quickly, I'm sorry. In terms of her interests, Cindy is extremely creative, drawing, sewing, writing, designing, you name it. She's really good at that. She thinks well on her feet, and not only she's a good problem solver, but she's a creative problem solver. She loves anything that she considers to be a challenge. She loves to read, of course, and she devours books. And she loves learning about other cultures, in particular food from other countries. In terms of her learning profile, she works really well in a group and usually takes on a leadership role. However, if given the opportunity, Cindy will choose to work alone. And from my observations and just kind of conversations I've had with her, I think this is due to the fact that when an assignment is given to her, she's got an idea very quickly in her head of how she wants that assignment to look, particularly if it involves, a creative component. And I don't think she wants the ideas of others to interfere with her ability to see her vision through. But she doesn't complain about working with other students at all. Her verbal and written skills are quite strong. She has high vocabulary. She enjoys choice menus, and the kind of cool thing about Cindy is that she will create her own choices. So she will either blend a couple of the choices to create her own, or she'll just come up with her own option and say, hey, this is what I was thinking. Can I use this can I use this to channel what I've learned? She's not afraid to take risks in the classroom, and she really enjoys to share her learning and her creations with her peers and share how she came up with those ideas and how she completed the assignment. Cindy also loves competition. My third case study is a young lady that I'm going to call Tiana. Tiana is, again, 7th grade. She's a mixed background. She comes from a difficult home life. She's in all regular level reading classes, meaning she's not in the high or not in the low. She's kind of middle of the road. She's very social, but she does tend to have mood swings, and you can see those shifts in her quite frequently. She seems to enjoy school, though, and she's pretty serious about her schoolwork, and I say that because she usually gets her assignments done on time. If something is missing or she's absent, she's sure to seek me out to find out what she missed and then get that completed. And she is pretty well organized. She does get along well with her peers most of the time, but she has a very strong personality and can sometimes, I think, be a little intimidating to other students who are quiet. She can be distracted easily, and she needs redirection. In terms of my relationship with her, it is very strong. I know that there have been some behavioral issues in some of the other classes. However, I think because of the relationship and the rapport that we have, I haven't seen that, and she responds really well to redirection when needed. In terms of readiness, I would say Tiana is a very middle-of-the-road, average 7th grade student. I don't see her as on the low or high spectrum. I see her right about average, where she should be. She enjoys learning and working hard. Even when the task is difficult, she will stay at it and continue to try and give it a couple tries before she'll ask for help. I think she somewhat enjoys reading if given the right book. Otherwise, she has trouble sustaining for maybe a 20-30 minute period in reading. However, like I said, if the book is one that she enjoys, then she's fine. She's a good note taker. Her background knowledge is about average. She does participate often in class. And she does have the ability to think critically. She makes some good connections. She's able to cite evidence to support her thinking and her, looking at some of the more abstract ideas, such as main idea and theme, she does well with those. Her interests, she's not involved in a whole lot of extracurricular activities. She loves music and loves to read out loud, and she enjoys plays. Something interesting about her, she loves to be the helper, and she loves to be the teacher, so to speak. Anytime she can be placed into a group, she'll take the role as recorder, reporter, and then she likes to come back to the rest of the class and say, here's what we did. And she definitely loves to help around the room. In terms of Tiana's learning profile, she loves working in groups. However, depending on her mood, she may sometimes choose to work alone. So sometimes it really varies day to day. When she does work alone, she works very well independently, and she doesn't get distracted. She does well with both verbal and written instructions. She does well communicating her thoughts, both verbally and written. She's good at following multi-step directions. And she likes, again, to demonstrate what she's learned, and she'll ask for feedback from myself to see, how I think she's progressing and if she's grasping the concepts I want her to grasp. And she does enjoy a challenge every now and then, but not always, because she can sometimes get, upset if she doesn't win. So she does like competition. And those are my 3 case studies. I hope you found them interesting.